So this meeting has been one of those meetings of, we have a curfew over here. We have all these things. So what we would have done is heard from Natalia and then also get to hear from you, Catherine. But that's okay. It's all fine. And I'm looking forward to what you're going to share with us.
So I see I have 10 minutes left. So
Yes.
I have the song and I have the feedback from the other meeting. I can probably
Oh,
do that in 10 minutes. Should I do that?
okay.
Should I try
Done.
both? Should I try both?
Do it.
Okay. So everybody, I think John Blend was going to be here, but he's a bit poorly, but he'll maybe see the recording. John, I hope I'm doing this credit. There was the other night on the 31st, there was a meeting of online therapists. The focus was it every child deserves inner peace, and it was thinking about working with children and young people experiencing conflict. And it had a range of people. There's a little handout that's going to come your way with my takeaways from that session and some resources there, some really good resources, both of the speakers and also the idea of some story cards, and some post-war advice, and also a book that's meant to be really good that complements the one that was sent out by this network. So the tips that came up, um, one of the key thoughts was in an emergency situation, which these children and families will be living with at the moment, be a glue, not a solvent at such times. Now is not the time for dissembling, for helping people to fragment a little so they can put themselves back together. No, they need absolute holding. The trauma is now. This is not a PTSD situation. It's nothing post about any of it. They have a need for nurture, for grounding, and for being soothed. And that is both the children and the families. And so please don't try to disrupt and do intense work. We need to restabilize and help people find security. I apologize if I'm speaking quickly with my English accent, which is quite difficult for many people to understand, but it's all written on the handout. Um, there's a mass challenge at a societal level. So Poland's children population, for example, has grown in the last couple of months by 1 million to 5 million. So that's a 25% rise in that country from the Ukrainian exodus. Consider ways that you in your practice can help people to self-soothe through the senses. I mean, such a great link to everything we've been doing, and to create safe spaces, comfort nests. How can they build with any of the tools that we use or physically a comforting nestling space that they can just feel safe and soft and gentle in? Consider the Gestalt cycle of experience, which begins with the senses, with grounding and embodying and imagining. Do activities with children so they don't feel watched. So really being alongside them as a friend. For example, water drawing with their hands, with their toes. No sense of failure, lots of sense of fun, but also very sensory. Cooking together, dancing, singing, nature and fire making. The sand tray, but in the actual dirt with actual stones. So that again, it's very, very sensory, crackling leaves, roughness of bark, dust of mud, water in the ground, drawing with sticks in the ground. You're invited and it's recommended to meet the person, not the problem. We don't have to do anything with those problems. How can we? How can we? They're about being human. Being met is extremely important, but in the way that you would meet a sunset. So you wouldn't need to comment. You witness the sunset, you witness the children, you witness the adults in their position. There's no need to solve anything. What's very therapeutic is those children having the space to tell their story, and the adults if you're working with the families, but gradually in their own time, and maybe capture that over weeks and months in a homemade storybook, and they can share it and keep returning to it. Their story being heard will help integration. Hold on to curiosity. Imagination helps resilience. One inexpensive resource that was mentioned was maybe painting a large board with blackboard paint and helping children to draw superheroes as a group, because the idea of what superhero are you embeds suggested strength to them that they can draw on. How can we be a companion to the child and the adult in telling the story? This can be really difficult in families. And at that meeting, people whose stories were from their own childhood, maybe 50 years ago, they're only now able to tell those stories because their family couldn't bear to talk about it. But we can be a space outside of the family where we can make room for the too much. How do we make space for what is too much to say at home, too much to almost bear? But if it's shareable, it's bearable. You probably know that saying. It was new to me. I like it. um, and I think the other thing was about the power of community theatre, if there is any place where storytelling can be done and explored and acted out by other people, the fact that people aren't running away from the story, that the story can come out somewhere, is really, really helpful. People mentioned earlier at that meeting, there were people who were going to bomb shelters as we were speaking. And it really brought home the need for adults to be able to self regulate and soothe themselves and try and support people in getting a regular routine. A lot of adults are hyper aroused at this moment, trying to reach family and friends, trying to be helpful. They have a lot of guilt, have a lot of shame. And because of the border issues, you may find this is true of many conflicts that there are family on both sides, and that going or staying are both of those problematic choices, and that people are traitors or heroes or both at different times. And that's a very, very hard thing for people to stick with. For parents to make the time to be calm, really difficult. So what can we do that's non-judgmental and that can be really gentle to help them? One way to help a child to sleep or an adult to sleep is to talk together about where will we be tomorrow? Where would we like to be? What would we like to be doing in 3 days' time? In 3 weeks' time? In 3 months' time? So again, just planting seeds of the future, seeds of hope, and keep going till everyone's tired. No judgment or comment, no interpretation, just yeah, yeah, that's an idea, that kind of thing. And the final point was to use the techniques that we have for our own well-being, because working alone, burnout is an enormous challenge. It is for all of the work that we do, but it is particularly for this. That's it.
That's it. That's beautiful.
A bit of a run through a 2 hour meeting.
Oh
Sorry.
my gosh. Oh no. Thank you for that. And if you're free to share that, then I will send that
Yeah,
out.
that's to go with your things. And I do have the self-soothe song if you want to do it. Or
Yes.
maybe people want to share. I don't want to take that last few minutes that we have. If people would like to comment or share, that might be more important this time.
Why don't we do the song and then if people want to share after, then
Okay. Yeah, we can
we
stay. I mean, we can stay on. That's
we
fine.
can stay a couple more minutes. Yeah, but
Yeah,
I do want to get to the song. Yeah.
totally. All right. Well, I have a song sheet which is going to come to you. It has 3 songs on it. One is a Ukrainian healing song. I'm still practicing that. I've got to get my pronunciation right. One is a Russian, using Russian words and English words, and it's from the Cold War, and it's a dance of universal peace to a traditional, well-known tune. And so I'm going to leave that for you to explore yourself. The reason that I chose a Russian song for that was because of my awareness of the way that as human beings we polarize. And it's like those are the baddies and those are the goodies. It's a very complex situation there. It's a full of horror, of course. There's a long history to it. And my compassion and awe for the courageous war resistors in Russia, words fail me. It's astonishing the courage that people are showing. So I'm going to teach you tonight, I'm going to teach you the English song. So that's the third of those songs. This is by one of my colleagues, Sophia Ethemio, and there's a link to her website and a link to sing along a sing along a song. But it's very, very sweet. So I'll sing it all for you and then we'll maybe try and do the actions. So this is home where I belong in this breath, in this heart. This is home where I belong. In this voice, in this song, And that's all there is to it. It's a very easy one to harmonize to, and that you'll love singing along to the video that I've done. So I'm going to just do that with you two more times. Let's do that together.
Okay.
Make sure you can see my
Yeah,
hand.
yeah. I missed some of the, I want to get the
Yeah.
actions too.
Yeah, and the
Beautiful.
actions are there's a big thing with her choir singing it, and everybody's making the actions, so you'll get them. So
Amazing. Okay, great.
this is home where I belong. In this breath, in this heart, this is home where I belong. In this voice, in this song. One more time. This is home where I belong. In this breath, in this heart, this is home where I belong. In this voice, in this song. There you go, and it's just a minute over.
Catherine,
Uh,
I cannot stop, but I have to say, this is hula. I've been dancing hula for 20 years. This is what home in hula, this is home. This is
Ah,
the motion for home is this,
ah.
exactly what you're saying. That just fills my heart to thank you.
It's very simple, isn't it? Very simple, very lovely. Sophia did a great job there. And just to remind us about how much we can self-soothe with the voice, with something really simple. It's not flashy, it's not cool. It's just simple. It's just breathing, it's just sounding, and doing that with somebody else is really comforting. It doesn't take
Wonderful,
long.
wonderful. No, no, thank you. And is there the Russian one?
The Russian one, do you have time for it?
Let's take a minute.
If you could open the document that I sent you and either put the whole document in there or just pop the words to this one in, and while you're doing that,
Okay.
I'll just sing through it. And let me just bring the words up. I always forget. It's ridiculous. It's just silly. I'm just nervous. Um, so yes, let's just see. Oh, I can probably put them in actually. So it's called Mir Miru Mir, which means peace in the world.
Oh, okay. Do
And
you want me to share the video or just the
oh
words or
God,
what?
no. No, 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 no. Just sharing the words. And if you share the document, or you can just send it round.
Okay.
So the title of it is Mir Miru Mir, and then it's a lot of English words. So it's quite easy for those of us who speak English. And so it's Spirit of peace, through our lives we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir Miru Mir. So hopefully you can see the words in the chat. It's a famous old English song, and it travels across boundaries, and it's used in some different countries, not only America and England, but also some European countries as well, with different words. I know it's definitely sung in Germany, for example, like Harvest Song or something. But these are words that were put to it during the Cold War, to ask for peace between Russia and America. And it's danced in many countries as a dance of universal peace. So we'll sing that a couple more times. It works as a round, but just we can sing it in unison as well. So, Spirit of peace, through our lives we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir, miru, mir. Spirit of peace, through our lives we give our strength, that love may reign and war may cease. Mir, miru, mir. Mir, miru, mir. And so on the sheet, you'll see a link to a recording, and also I suggest that you can YouTube Dancers of Universal Peace and see lots of people doing that in a kind of spiritual, loving sense, sending love to everybody who's working for peace.
I think that's this group for sure. Thank you for sharing all of this. I
You're
put
welcome.
your handout in the chat. Sorry for the delay. That was just beautiful way to end this.
Thank you.
So
May it soothe you all.
thanks to Lynn for co-hosting today, and to Kelly for presenting, and Cassiana for being a translator, and Catherine for just ending on just the loveliest note, and all of you for being here. It just is wonderful to see everyone.